This is African News on Voice of the People Television, where we don't just bring you the news, we bring you Africa's heartbeat, the policies that shapes our world, and the economy that determines our future. African News on Voice of the People Television. Stay with us.
I've been in this profession over 30 years. And I must confess to you, VOP is just too welcoming. You can't do without VOP on a daily basis. The moment you join VOP on a daily basis, you are all in all.
Join us on People's Voice, where we amplify the voice of those that matters the most. Join the conversation. Share your thoughts with me. I am Savior Udo. Weekdays, Monday through Friday, from 4 p.m. to 5. Don't forget, our voice matters the most. Let us come together and share our concerns. Thank you.
My name is Tao Familoni, and here's to VOP TV. Keep watching, stay tuned, do not touch that dial.
Arararara, my name is Made Kuti, and you're watching VOP TV. Keep watching.
Welcome, my name is Zika Davis. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, boys, viewers, everybody, boys and girls. This is VOP TV. Do you know what that means? Voice of the People TV. You don't have a voice, don't come here. You better make sure your voice is.
We encourage you to click on the like button and subscribe to our YouTube channel. We are Voice of the People TV. Also follow us on all our social media platforms. We are at VOP TV Live. Visit our website www.vop.ng for fresh and trending news. Also watch us live on SLTV channel 264. VOP TV, Voice of the People Television.
The red carpets, awards, the razzmatazz, music, fashion, interviews, and more. Spotlight on Voice of the People Television. Let's feed you with all the juicy stories in the global entertainment space, bringing you the glitz and glamour as they hot. Stay tuned to Spotlight, 1 p.m. Monday to Friday. Spotlight on VOP TV. Entertainment like never before.
Welcome to the locker room, the home of football talk that matters. I am Jerry Arpillon. Join us every weekday, Monday to Friday at 5 p.m. Nigerian time, as we share the hot takes and hot debates in the exciting world of football. And joining me are the usual suspects, Ikechukwu and Mayowa, as we break down all the hot takes and everything that's happening in the football. Don't just watch football, live it with us. Catch us on the locker room and Voice of the People Television at 5 p.m. Nigerian time. And like I always say, if not 2024, please the sport.
Join us as we drive into the world of politics through insightful interviews with prominent political figures, both serving and former governors, ministers, senators, legislators, party chieftains, activists, and analysts. Get first-hand information into the decision-making processes that affect our daily lives. Highly engaging one-hour program that brings political discourse into focus.
I am Chukwuma Okoro.
Political Lens, Monday through Friday, 6 to 7 p.m. Join us.
Everybody keep watching Voice of the People. All right? Love you all.
Hello, sweetie. What's going on? My name is Kiki. Keep watching VOP TV. Thanks.
Hey, guys. What's going on? Olumide Oru, the Fresh Prince of Lagos here, and this is VOP TV, guys.
Hello, guys. I want you to please keep on watching VOP TV.
Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Hafiz Oyetoro. Please keep watching VOP TV.
Shout out to VOP TV.
Very big shout out to the fans and lovers of VOP TV. My name is Tayo Faduro. I'm an actor that you are going to live to love. Keep watching. Cheers.
Hi everyone, so shout out to VOP TV.
In a world where truth is the ultimate power and opinions scream the loudest, it's time to wade through the noise.
Hunger no get tribe! Hunger no get religion!
And scan the human interest and trending topics that matter. Stay tuned to The Issues, your plug to the stories making the buzz, from politics to science and technology, social justice, and more. Let's tackle the tough questions and expose the truth. The Issues on Voice of the People Television, Mondays to Fridays, 8 to 9 p.m. The Issues. Don't just react, understand.
Behind every broken desk lies a broken promise. Education shapes the nations. But who is asking the right questions? Introducing Edu Dialogue, the show that goes beyond the surface, exposes the cracks, the corruption, and the silence in Nigeria's education system. Edu Dialogue, Saturdays, 3 p.m., only on VOP TV. We break the biggest stories, from missing funds to policy failures. We ask the tough questions and demand real answers. Edu Dialogue, this Saturday, 3 p.m. on Voice of the People Television.
Ever wonder what inspires your favorite gospel artists? Explore and discover the rich heritage of continental gospel music and how this transformative journey has evolved and shaped cultures around the world as we dig deep into archival treasures. Feel the energy in our praise jam, Gospel Fusion, on Voice of the People Television. Tune in this Sunday, 3 to 4 p.m. and be part of a transformative experience that uplifts and inspires. Join us as we explore the transformative power of gospel music and its ability to uplift spirits and unite hearts. Tune in this Sunday, 3 to 4 p.m. on Voice of the People Television. Gospel Fusion. Let's fuse our hearts in praise and joy.
2564 is coming up on Burning 9, right? The 2564 Atlantic Tower.
What happens in the hush behind hangar doors? Who signs the papers that gamble with lives? Which truths were grounded before they even ever had wings? If you've ever buckled a seatbelt at 30,000 feet, if you've ever stared out of that tiny window and wondered who's really in control of the skies, it isn't just flight, it's power, it's politics, it's pressure sealed in steel. We're peeling back the clouds from runway risks to sky-high secrets. We're diving deep where most dare not to look. Aviation Scope, every Sunday at 7 p.m. only on Voice of the People TV. We don't just report, we reveal. We don't just ask, we uncover. Because when it comes to the skies, ignorance is turbulence. Aviation Scope, the sky isn't the limit, it's just the beginning.
Welcome to Aviation Scope. I am Chukwuemeka Obioma. This edition seeks to examine the potential manpower crisis facing the National Association of Air Traffic Controllers, which has warned that without immediate intervention, the country risks losing up to 70% of its experienced air traffic controllers in the next few years. And when we mean the next few years, we're talking about 2030 due to retirements. Now, additionally, the situation at the Nigerian College of Aviation Technology is under scrutiny. The institution reports having a limited capacity to train staff, despite the federal government's recent attempt to address the manpower gap in the subsector by extending the retirement age for air traffic controllers from 60 to 65 years. This extension aims to allow them to transfer their skills and experience to younger staff. Now, to address these issues with me here on the program is Ifeoma Okeke Okorocha, an aviation and business editor at Business Day. Ifeoma, you are welcome.
For having me.
All right. So we are looking at the potential manpower crisis facing the National Association of Air Traffic Controllers. And as you know, the National Association of Air Traffic Controllers is facing a manpower crisis and has warned that without immediate intervention, the country could lose up to 70% of its experienced controllers, talking about air traffic controllers in the next few years, and we're talking about 2030, due to retirement. We understand that the Association of Air Traffic Controllers is pushing for the retirement age of 65 for its personnel. Now, the Minister of Aviation and Aerospace Development, Festus Keyamo, has assured that he will sit with the permanent secretary in the ministry to study and discuss the possibility of an upward review of the retirement age, say from 60 to 65. He indeed noted that if pilots can fly at the age of 65 years, there is no reason for the air traffic controllers not to push for that retirement age of 65. Now, the minister's reason is hinged on the fact that he wants to extend, that this extension could actually allow older generation of air traffic controllers to transfer their skills and experience to younger staff. But the challenge now is that the situation at the Nigerian College of Aviation Technology is under scrutiny. The institution reports having limited capacity to train staff despite the federal government's recent attempt to address the manpower gap in the subsector. Now I am asking, what are your thoughts on the potential manpower crisis facing the National Association of Air Traffic Controllers, particularly with regards to the retirement age of 60 years, and the fact that they are saying that if nothing is done, 70% of its experienced controllers would retire in the next 3 or 4 years from now?
Okay, thank you very much for having me once again.
You're welcome.
Yeah, it's a potential crisis we have in our hands, right? And I'm quite surprised that it's coming to the public notice right now, and it's happening because very soon a lot of them will be retiring. Like you heard, 7% of the air traffic controllers would retire in 2030. 70%, that's a lot. And in the midst of this 70%, in the midst of this crisis, we still have new airports that are springing up, right? While the traffic numbers in Nigeria hasn't really increased, right? So we can't really say, because the traffic number keeps hovering around 14 to 15 million every year. So I don't see an increment, but then you'd see that we have a lot of aerodromes, which are airports, and smaller airports keep springing up, especially in state governments. Everybody wants to have an airport. So that means we need this capacity. And if we need this capacity, and in 5 years' time or less than that, 70% of these guys will be retiring, which is the air traffic controllers, then we really have a crisis on our hands. So for me, I feel like they are making this known or coming out to talk about this really late, because 5 years is almost here, right? 5 years is almost here. And like you said, the UNCAT, that's the school of aviation in Zaria, is also having a crisis of having just few. I hear like about 10, only 10 teachers are there, that specialize in air traffic control, lectures, that teach air traffic control. So that means the capacity is really, really slim. And these same people will soon retire. Scary. So who is there to teach them? Although we have other aviation school, I think we have one in Ilorin, and then some other small ones. But this aviation school in Zaria is the major one, so it's a crisis that is about to happen, and it's really worrying. First of all, extending the years to 65 is not the ultimate solution. While that is a temporary solution that would maybe help fix a little things. For example, having if we have young aspiring air traffic controllers coming on board, these guys will still have time to teach them. But how many of them are coming on board? We did not few number of instructors we have in these schools. So it's a crisis actually, and is one that really needs urgent attention. Yes.
All right. So talking about urgent attention, what do you think? Aside from age extension, what other role do you think that the federal government could play in addressing the manpower gap in that subsector?
Okay, first of all, I think, like I said, first of all, we have to address the institution, which is go to Zaria, know what the challenges are. I hear that a lot of their instructors are leaving for greener pastures. Why? This is because they are not well remunerated. Their salaries are really small, so that's why they are leaving. And if they are living in that numbers, and some of them are even living to sister organizations. So it's not like they are. A lot of them are going out of the country. Yes, some of them are going out of the country, but some of them are also moving to sister organizations because I hear that sister organizations pay better than what they pay in Zaria at the institution in Zaria. So a lot of them are moving. So first of all, it's bridge that gap. We need to increase the salaries of these guys. So when their salaries are being increased, then it's a better way of keeping them. Because when they are not getting good salaries and they see a place where they can put them and they will pay them well, then they would rather leave. So first of all, is to address that issue. Then secondly, is to ensure that more people are trained. And it then calls my attention to a statement that Mike Achimogu, of the public relations officer of the director of NCA had come, that's the Nigeria Civil Aviation Authority, had come out to say that beyond pilots and beyond cabin crew, which is, a lot of people see these pilots and cabin crew as the only profession in aviation, but it's way beyond that. We have flight dispatchers, we have those that work as ground handling agents, we have the air traffic controllers too. So a lot of people need to be informed that beyond pilots and beyond you being a cabin crew, there are a lot more professions that that even have gap. There's a gap in the aviation sector. A lot of people say they are looking for jobs. If you go now and train as an air traffic controller, I can tell you that you have almost 90% chances of getting a job. Rather than everybody going into to study being a pilot. A lot of people go there after studying, even to get type-rated on the aircraft. It's another problem. So as it is now, you have more chances of being employed as an air traffic controller than being employed as a pilot, because a lot of people flock there just to because they have the dreams of being a pilot. So these are other channels. But then the federal government too, because if people are going to go and study, pay a lot of money to study to be air traffic controllers, then you have to pay them well. So there should be some encouragement from your side that if I'm going to finish as an air traffic controller, then you're going to really pay me well. So that's part of the challenges, that's part of the gaps that we have. First of all, like I mentioned, payment of salaries need to be increased. Their work conditions too need to be taken care of. I'll give you an instance. A lot of these air traffic controllers, they've come out to say that they are not being treated well, even in their work conditions. Okay, some of their pregnant women have to climb, where the air traffic controllers control from is a very long tower. So they have to climb that long tower because there are no escalators to take them up. So and some of them, I hear that some of them even get miscarriage from it. So the work condition is very, very, very poor. You can understand what they are going through. It's very, very poor. So if as a person you are seeing this work condition and you're saying, is this the profession I want to come into? So the infrastructure has to be there for them to work. There has to be some encouragement to show that if I'm going to be an air traffic controller, this is what I will enjoy. I won't come to suffer. You understand? Yeah. And then when they also are getting to age of retirement, a lot of them suffer from cancer. Why? Because of the radiation. They're exposed to radiation when they do their jobs. And when they go through these cancer-related diseases, there's no money to take care of them. There's no money to cater for them. Why? Because the retirement benefit is low. So you see that it's a ripple effect. So these are a lot of things has to be first taken care of to first of all attract people to the profession and to keep them there.
All right. So these are the things that should be taken care of to attract people to the profession. And with that line, we will go on a short break. And when we return, Aviation Scope continues. Stay with us. Don't go anywhere.
Every Sunday at
2564 is coming up on Barney 9, right? The 2564 Atlantic Tower.
What happens in the hush behind hangar doors? Who signs the papers that gamble with lives? Which truths were grounded before they even ever had wings? If you've ever buckled a seatbelt at 30,000 feet, if you've ever stared out of that tiny window and wondered who's really in control of the skies, it isn't just flight, it's power, it's politics, it's pressure sealed in steel. We're peeling back the clouds from runway risks to sky-high secrets. We're diving deep where most dare not to look. Aviation Scope.
Welcome to Aviation Scope. Welcome back from the break. You're still watching Aviation Scope on Voice of the People television. And I am Chukwuemeka Obioma. And we've been talking about the manpower gap crisis facing the Association of Air Traffic Controllers in the aviation sector. Air traffic controllers happen to belong to a subsector within the aviation industry. And they have warned that 70% of their members could leave the subsector due to retirement. And we are asking, what can government do to actually, salvage this situation that we have on our hands? And with me to dissect this issue, and in fact we have been doing justice to it, is a business and aviation editor at the Business Day Media, Ifeoma Okeke Okorocha. Now, Ifeoma, I would like to find out what policies or initiatives you would actually propose to attract and retain talent in the air and traffic control profession. I know you've talked about improvements in remuneration packages and welfare as well. But aside from these items that you have reeled out, what other measures do you think government could actually adopt in terms of policy formulation to actually retain or attract, not just retain. You retain the ones you have and also attract, fresh talent in the air traffic control profession.
Okay, thank you very much for the question again. Like I said, thank God you mentioned that. I also mentioned about the salary. First of all, in Nigeria, things are difficult. So first of all, Nigerians are more about how much are they going to earn. Some of them, not everybody, is more about how much are they going to earn before they love for the profession anyway. So first of all, like I said, there has to be a welfare package that encourages these guys to stay. A welfare package that encourages them to stay, salary increments, and then also retirement benefits. Right? So if they are going to retire, what are some of the things that they will benefit as retirees in the air traffic control profession? So that's one thing that the government really has to look at to attract new ones coming in and also to keep those ones that are staying. And peradventure, the government has done all this and still people who want to still leave the country, have greener pastures or want to still get greener pastures outside Nigeria, there's something the government can also do, is to maybe, if they can, train some of them. You could give them a package that says, okay, government is going to pay for 50% your career, and then the remaining 50%, government would offset 50% of the of what they are supposed to pay in the institution for them. And when the government does this, they should sign a bond. That's my thinking. They should.
Hello, Ifoma, are you still there?
Number of years, I have to stay in the country.
Okay.
Yeah, so the government can make them sign bonds, right? That for so number of years, I have to stay in the country to impart the knowledge to people, right? To impart the right knowledge to those people that are coming up or aspiring air traffic controllers. So when you have that agreement, because the government has trained you, I've offsetted your bills for maybe 50% offsets, and then you are paying 50% of the school fees. Now, the government has a right to tell you what to do to an extent and what not to do. So you sign a bond and say, okay, for the next 15, 20 years, I have to stay in Nigeria to teach these people. I have to stay in Nigeria. I have to work as an air traffic controller. So you sign a bond. But that can only happen when the federal government has trained them. Somebody cannot get trained and then you tell him what to do. But when you train them, you have the right to sign it. They have to sign a bond in agreement with the federal government to say that this is the number of years I have to stay in Nigeria. Then if I decide to go, maybe I can go for after 20 years, I can go after 15 years. So this way you have more people staying, right? So it's the federal government really has a huge role to play in this regard. And like I said, the work conditions has to be improved. The work conditions has to be improved. The infrastructure across the airport is decaying. I hear that a lot of infrastructure they do, even the communicating with the pilots.
Yeah,
it's difficult for them. So they are coming back from work and they are exhausted because you are struggling to hear from the pilots when they are on board. You're not hearing from them. It's a lot of, and it's really gets into them because they are stressed, right? So the enabling environment has to be there. The infrastructure has to be there. I mentioned to you that some of these air traffic controllers, the women, have had to miscarry, have had cases of miscarriages because they have to climb very long staircases to get to the air traffic control room. So that shouldn't be heard. How much is escalators that the federal government cannot provide for these guys? So the work condition really has to improve, like I said, and these are the only way, to help, keep them in the job.
All right. So let me ask you these other questions. What are your predictions for the future of air traffic control in Nigeria, looking at the entire scenario, particularly with regard to manpower and training?
Okay, so my predictions may be that of doom, but I just hope, like I said,
please let's have a soft landing on that.
Can do some of the things I have said, right? From my own observation, I feel that things would improve. But if there is nothing urgent that is done, I can tell you that more people will leave. And guess what? It is not only in Nigeria we have air traffic control, scarcity of air traffic controllers. It's also happening in US. It's happening in other countries. So if we have it there, that means they need them. And imagine they need those people there. They would gladly accept them. Yes. So we have a crisis in our hand that if nothing is done, we are actually going to run into more crisis. What we are going to be having is flight delays because we don't have air traffic controllers to clear pilots for takeoff and for landing. So there will be flight delays. There will be a lot of airports probably shutting down, especially small airports. You know, small airports will shut down because we will not have air traffic control. And when that happens, we'll have limited number of flights taking off. When we have limited number of flights taking off, what does it mean? Increase in airfares. Because it will then mean that you have little supply, right, and more demand. When you have little supply and more demand, it means what? Airfares will increase. So we have a crisis, a serious crisis, and we just hope that, imagine taking off 70% of air traffic controllers. You know how important their job is. Their job is as important as the pilot. In fact, more important than that of the pilots. Because if an air traffic controller doesn't clear a pilot for takeoff or for landing, he cannot operate. He cannot. It's not possible. All these things has to be taken care of to ensure that this crisis don't come. Because when they come, we can't handle it.
All right. So just one last question before we go, or we'll call it a wrap. How do you think the industry will evolve, given the scenario you've just, painted in the next, in the next, say, 5 years from now? And what steps can be taken to actually prepare for these challenges?
Okay, when you say evolve, I'm not sure I understand the question. Is it evolve negatively or positively? Or, I mean,
both ways. What do you think the future holds for the industry? And say in the next 5 years from now, and what steps can be taken to actually prepare for these changes?
Okay, so, if you want to predict, like I said before, if you are going to predict it's going to be a doom for the industry if steps are not being taken to address this surging manpower gap that we have in Nigeria. For the air traffic controllers, like I said, the job of these guys are very, very important, just as important as that of the pilots, right? Insecurity is huge in Nigeria, and that's why sometimes I tell people that aviation is not actually for the rich. It is gradually becoming.
Yes, but should it be that way? Should it be that way?
No, of course it shouldn't be that way. Like I said, it is not supposed to be for the rich, but because of the airfares, right? A lot of people should be able to. If you go to the US, an average US person, European, can easily board a flight. It's an essential means of transportation, but in Nigeria, it's looking like it is not essential because a lot of people cannot afford it. But then we are getting to a stage where people would really need to get on board an aircraft. Right, to do business, to go on meetings and a lot of things. So we need these guys. If they are not available, it's a doom for us in the industry. What you'll be having may be charter flights, because when you say 70% of the workforce leaving, it means that we just have 30%. So how do you want 30% of that to handle an annual passenger traffic of almost 15 million every year? That's crisis about to happen.
Really?
So like I said, increase in salary, better work remunerations, increase in salaries, better work conditions, upgrade in infrastructure for these guys to really work. So all these things put together should be able to address the issue that we have. If they are not, if this issue is not being addressed, like I told you, we are going to have scarcity of aircrafts, because aircrafts will just be on ground, nobody to operate them. The air traffic controller will tell you that we are not available. The pilots would have to wait. So we'll just have a lot of pilots just waiting, and they will be at the mercy of these guys, the mercy of the few air traffic controllers that we have. And like I said, this is just to Nigerians now. Please and please, pilots profession and cabin crew is not the only profession in aviation. We have a lot more profession. We have the ground handlers, people who handle, baggage, people who handle cargo, air cargo part of the sector. We have the air traffic controllers, like I said. We have the air marshals. You understand? We have the engineers. And engineering in aviation is huge. There are people who who just repair the wheels, brakes. There are people who, so it's a broad profession. And I can tell you, while I'm not the government, I hope that the government can listen to this. Whoever is watching this can listen to this and ensure that, the work conditions are better, and ensure that you pay these people well, so that a lot of people can see this as a noble profession, can see this as an honorable profession. People don't want to just go train their children and they're out of school and you're giving them stipends as salary. It doesn't work. So let us put all this together to, keep these guys and to make the industry a better one in future. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Ifeoma Okeke Okorocha. Yeah, I hope the relevant authorities can hear you and do something in this regard. Ladies and gentlemen, I have been talking with Ifeoma Okeke Okorocha, an aviation and business editor at Business Day. We have been looking at the manpower gap crisis in the aviation sector with regard to the Association of Air Traffic Controllers. And we have been looking at ways government can actually salvage this situation before it gets out of hand. And with that, we have come to the end of this week's edition of Aviation School. Keep a date with us again, same time next week for your darling program, Aviation School. As always, I am Chukwuemeka Obioma. Thank you for watching.
This is African News on Voice of the People Television, where we don't just bring you the news, we bring you Africa's heartbeat, the policies that shapes our world, and the economy that determines our future. African News on Voice of the People Television. Stay with us.
I've been in this profession over 30 years. And I must confess to you, VOP is just too welcoming. You can't do without VOP on a daily basis. The moment you join VOP on a daily basis, you are all in all.
Join us on People's Voice, where we amplify the voice of those that matters the most. Join the conversation. Share your thoughts with me. I am Savior Udo. Weekdays, Monday through Friday, from 4 p.m. to 5. Don't forget, our voice matters the most. Let us come together and share our concerns. Thank you.
My name is Tayo Familoni, and here is to VOP TV. Keep watching, stay tuned, do not touch that dial.
My name is Made Kuti, and you're watching BOP TV. Keep watching.
Welcome, my name is Zika Davis. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, boys, viewers, everybody, boys and girls. This is VOP TV. Do you know what that means? Voice of the People TV. You don't have a voice, don't come here. You better make sure your voice is.
We encourage you to click on the like button and subscribe to our YouTube channel. We are Voice of the People TV. Also follow us on all our social media platforms. We are at VOP TV Live. Visit our website www.vop.ng for fresh and trending news. Also watch us live on SLTV channel 264. VOP TV, Voice of the People Television.
In a world where power shifts with every headlines, news breaks and events happens, we bring you unbiased and explicit information on politics, economy and state of the nation. We break down the chaos. Facts, not fluff. Truth, not a spin. We discuss not just politics, but a glimpse into the future. Join Moses, Chukuma and Fina on Voice of the People TM. Voice of the People Television. Now you have more than a voice.
The red carpets, awards, the razzmatazz, music, fashion, interviews, and more. Spotlight on Voice of the People Television. Let's feed you with all the juicy stories in the global entertainment space, bringing you the glitz and glamour as it is hot. Stay tuned to Spotlight, 1 p.m. Monday to Friday. Spotlight on VOP TV. Entertainment like never before.
Welcome to the locker room, the home of football talk that matters. I am Jerry Aviation. Join us every weekday, Monday to Friday at 5 p.m. Nigerian time, as we share the hot takes and hot debates in the exciting world of football. And joining me are the usual suspects, Ikechukwu and Mayowa, as we break down all the hot takes and everything that's happening in the football. Don't just watch football, live it with us. Catch us on the Locker Room and Voice of the People television at 5 p.m. Nigerian time. And like I always say, if not 2012, please the sport.
Join us as we drive into the world of politics through insightful interviews with prominent political figures, both serving and former governors, ministers, senators, legislators, party chieftains, activists, and analysts. Get first-hand information into the decision-making processes that affect our daily lives. Highly engaging one-hour program that brings political discourse into focus.
I am Chukwuma Okoro.
Political Lens, Monday through Friday, 6 to 7 p.m. Join us.
Everybody keep watching Voice of the People. All right? Love you all.
Hello, sweetie. What's going on? My name is Kiki. Keep watching VOP TV. Thanks.
Hey guys, what's going on? Olumide Oru, the Fresh Prince of Lagos here, and this is VOP TV, guys.
Hello guys, I want you to please keep on watching VOP TV.
Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Hafiz Oyetoro. Please keep watching VOP TV.
Shout out to VOP TV.
Very big shout out to the fans and lovers of VOP TV. My name is Tayo Faduro. I'm an actor that you are going to live to love. Keep watching. Cheers.
Hi everyone, so shout out to VOP.
Are you ready to lift him high? All around the world, it's time. Let the praise wave ride. It's Praise Wave Live. Oh yeah, the rhythm of grace we testify. Let's go. He turned our mourning into dancing, our silence into shouting. It's Praise Wave Live. Let the glory rise. We're riding the wave. Every moment, every tribe. Praise wave, lift him up. Praise wave, don't stop now. Praise wave, all day, all night. Once we live, let the world.
In a world where truth is the ultimate power and opinions scream the loudest, it's time to wade through the noise.
Hunger no get tribe. Hunger no get religion.
And scan the human interest and trending topics that matter. Stay tuned to The Issues, your plug to the stories making the buzz, from politics to science and technology, social justice, and more. Let's tackle the tough questions and expose the truth. The Issues, on Voice of the People television, Mondays to Fridays, 8 to 9 p.m. The Issues. Don't just react. Understand.
Behind every broken desk lies a broken promise. Education shapes the nations. But who is asking the right questions? Introducing Edu Dialogue, the show that goes beyond the surface, exposes the cracks, the corruption, and the silence in Nigeria's education system. Edu Dialogue, Saturdays, 3 p.m., only on VOP TV. We break the biggest stories, from missing funds to policy failures. We ask the tough questions and demand real answers. Edu Dialogue, this Saturday, 3 p.m. on Voice of the People television.
Ever wonder what inspires your favorite gospel artists? Explore and discover the rich heritage of continental gospel music and how this transformative journey has evolved and shaped cultures around the world. As we dig deep into archival treasures, feel the energy in our praise jam, Gospel Fusion on Voice of the People television. Tune in this Sunday, 3 to 4 p.m. and be part of a transformative experience that uplifts and inspires. Join us as we explore the transformative power of gospel music and its ability to uplift spirits and unite hearts. Tune in this Sunday, 3 to 4 p.m. on Voice of the People television. Gospel Fusion. Let's fuse our hearts in praise and joy.
Are you ready for the extraordinary? Something big is happening on your screen. Introducing VOP TV. Now streaming on SLTV channel 264. From breaking news to captivating conversations, news analysis, giving you all sides to the story. We break in-depth discussions on the issues that matter, from politics to sports, entertainment, and lifestyle. VOP TV on SLTV channel 264. Join us as we redefine what television means to you. Voice of the People Television, VOP TV. Now you have more than a voice.
What happens in the hush behind hangar doors? Who signs the papers that gamble with lives? Which truths were grounded before they even ever had wings? If you've ever buckled a seatbelt at 30,000 feet, if you've ever stared out of that tiny window and wondered who's really in control of the skies, it isn't just flight, it's power, it's politics, it's pressure sealed in steel. We're peeling back the clouds from runway risks to sky-high secrets. We're diving deep where most dare not to look. Aviation Scope, every Sunday at 7 p.m. only on Voice of the People TV. We don't just report, we reveal. We don't just ask, we uncover. Because when it comes to the skies, ignorance is turbulence. Aviation Scope, the sky isn't the limit, it's just the beginning.
Welcome to Kitty's Corner. Every weekend is a new journey. Join Auntie Oni as she embarks on thrilling adventures. Each episode takes the young explorers to a different fantastical world filled with exciting challenges, making new friends and learning valuable life lessons. The show begins with lots of excitement in a cozy storytelling mood. Fairies teach the importance of kindness, honesty, bravery, teamwork, or curiosity. Kitty's Corner is a delightful blend of fun, education, and imagination with catchy songs, interactive games, and heartwarming stories. Join Auntie Oni every Saturday, 10 a.m. to 10:30 a.m. on Voice of the People Television. Kitty's Corner, perfect destination for curious minds.
Three years ago, we lit the spark. Today, we are blazing the trail for others to follow. VOP Media is 3. 3 years of breaking boundaries. 3 years of being that bold voice that echoes the thoughts of the people. 3 years of telling stories that matter.
We have experienced complete breakdown in democratic governance.
We are not just a brand. We are a movement, giving voice to the voiceless.
We go to bed empty hunger.
To every viewer, every voice, and everyone that has made us who we are, we say thank you. VOP Media, 3 years and still counting.
voice.
Voice of the People Television awuchiela o onye nụ ya ka ọrụ ibe ya. Ị chọrọ ịmata akụkọ ndị gbara n'akwụkwọ akụkọ dị iche iche n'ala anyị kwa ụbọchị. Ị chọrọ ịmata ka o si afịatụ na ndọrọndọrọ ọchịchị, agụmakwụkwọ, azụmahịa, ime njem, ọbụla dị egwuregwu. Mgbasonyere anyị n'oge ndị Igbo na Voice of the People Television. Anyị nwere ndị ọbịa bụ ọkachamara bụkwa ndị ga-enye aka tapịa isiokwu ndị anyị jiri bịa kwa ụbọchị. Anyị ga-eji ka o siri gbaa n'akwụkwọ akụkọ dị iche iche wee malite tupu anyị akọzie n'uju n'ubi onye anyị bịara na nke ya.
Ịgbamụrụ nzem ọzọ kedu ka o si aga ya gaziere onye ukwu ma gaziere onye nta.
Mkparịta ụka tọrọ atọ ka anyị ga-ewetara gị bụkwa nke ga-eme ka ịmata ka ihe si aga n'ala anyị bụ Naịjirịa ọbụla dị na mba ofesi. Oge ndị Igbo na Voice of the People Television ga na-abịara gị site n'ụbọchị Mọnde ruo Fraịde na SLTV Channel 264. Ekwekwala ka akọrọ gị ya akọrọ. Chetakwa na ọ bụ na SLTV Channel 264 ka ị ga-ekiri Voice of the People Television. Voice of the People Television. Ugbu a ị nwere karịa olu.
From the views on the street,
We go to bed empty hunger.
to the blaring horns of a hustling city, the loudest voices of the common man got a medium to be heard.
This particular administration, they were coming unprepared.
It's not a bad thing to renovate the president's lodge.
Through top-notch programming, unbiased reportage of news, sports, business, entertainment, and cultural documentaries, Voice of the People 90.3 FM became a symbol for 21st century media. And now, a new baby is born. Voice of the People Television, VOP TV, youthful, full of vigor and penchant for excellence in the continent's media space, exposing the wrongs, applauding the rights, dissecting the news without fear or favor, through factual and accurate stories and contents.
Corruption kills three things that makes a society.
Representing the interests of the people and giving them a voice. Voice of the People TV is here to stay towards building a fair society. VOP TV, Voice of the People Television, truly a voice for the people.
This is Health Check, your weekly guide to better living, smarter choices, and trusted answers. From everyday wellness to urgent health issues, we've got you covered. Health Check, only on Voice of the People Television, where your health has a voice.
In a world where power shapes with every headline,
In a nation full of questions,
in a world filled with noise, the truth needs a voice.
The policies that shapes our world and the economy that determines our future.
Every hour, every day, the grapevine keeps buzzing. And together, we are committed to telling the stories that shape our world because your voice is our focus.
Don't forget, our voice matters the most. Let us come together and share our concerns.
Voice of the People. You can hear me now. My name is Patrick Doyle, and I wish that you continue to echo the voices of the people. Big up VOP TV.
My name is Suibifa Dokubo. Please keep watching VOP TV.
Hi, my name is Kwekumali Ikena Onyekwena, and I am with the Voice of the People TV. Now, if you're looking for the veritable channel for information, politics, robust discussions, you don't need to go far. VOP has you. VOP will always have you. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Patrick Diabwa, aka Ibani Chuka, Amayanabo the Eagle King, and you are watching VOP TV.
VOP TV. Now, you have more than a voice.
In Nigeria, weddings are more than ceremonies. They are deeply rooted cultural performances, traditions, where love is measured, respect is demonstrated, and the couple's readiness is publicly declared. Today, we explore 4 remarkable marriage customs that continue to define and distinguish Nigerian culture. The Urobo groom's acceptance dance in Delta State. Among the Urobo people, marriage proposals are not complete without a compelling performance. The groom must present himself to the bride's family through dance. This ritual is more than a formality, it is a declaration. A deeply symbolic gesture that speaks to his humility, strength, and readiness to resume the weight of marital responsibility. Under the watchful eyes of elders and kin, the groom steps into a sacred space. Each movement is measured. Each step is intentional. His dance becomes a silent language expressing respect for the family, reverence for tradition, and unwavering commitment to the woman he hopes to call his wife. But the true climax of the ritual comes not with applause, but with a response. If the bride rises and joins him moving in rhythm by his side, it is a powerful signal of acceptance, a public acknowledgement that she, too, is ready, that she sees in him a partner, a protector, and a future. Together, their dance becomes a union of purpose. For the Urobo, this ritual is not just a tradition, it is a rite of passage, a cultural affirmation that love must be earned and marriage must be honored. In the Niger Delta, among the Ijaw, the bride does not smile on her wedding day, not until the symbolic gesture of value is complete. Among the Ijaw people, weddings are not merely ceremonies, they are cultural declarations of respect, value, and tradition. At the heart of this ritual stands the bride, composed, dignified, and silent. She does not smile. Her expression, calm and unreadable, is a quiet assertion of agency. It is tradition that before joy can unfold, a symbolic gesture must take place. Cash offerings are made to her not as a prize, but as a token of appreciation, a respectful acknowledgement of her worth, her strength, and a role in the union to come. Each offering is placed before her with care. The moment is deliberate. The bride weighs not just the amount, but the spirit in which it is given. And only when she is satisfied and when the gesture feels worthy, she smiles. That single smile marks the turning point, a quiet signal that respect has been shown and the union is worthy of celebration. Then the celebration began. For the Ijaw, this moment is sacred. It is not about wealth, but about recognition, about beginning a marriage with honor and the full consent of a woman who knows her value. For the Fulani of northern Nigeria, a man's strength and endurance are essential proofs of love. The Sharo festival, a centuries-old tradition known as the test of love. Here, in the presence of elders, family, and an entire community, a groom steps forward not with gifts, but with his back bent, ready to be flogged, not out of cruelty, but out of culture. Each lash he receives is a test of endurance, bravery, and emotional control. He must stand tall without flinching, without crying or retreating. His silence is everything. It is his declaration that he is strong enough to protect, patient enough to endure, and emotionally ready for the journey of marriage. But the challenge does not end there. Sometimes another man steps forward, a rival for the same bride, and in that arena, love becomes a contest. The one who withstands the pain with the most dignity, the one who shows the greatest strength, earns the right to her hand. This is not mere spectacle, it is ritual, a cultural practice where courage is measured and marital readiness is revealed through sacrifice. For the Fulani, marriage is not simply accepted, it is earned. For the Sharo tribe, true love proves itself. The Efik fattening room wedding preparation. In Cross River State, the Efik people prepare brides with grace and wisdom. It is a sacred institution known as the fattening room, which prepares a bride not just for a wedding, but for womanhood itself. Here, young women are secluded for weeks, sometimes months, in a sacred... and private space. And this time, honor tradition, the bride-to-be is not isolated, but nurtured, fed a rich, balanced diet to promote fullness and beauty, a symbol of prosperity and care. But the transformation is not just physical. Elders and matrons pass down vital knowledge, the art of respect, power of patience, the strength of dignity. She is taught how to manage a home, uphold cultural values, and honor her future role as a wife and mother. It is a school of femininity, of discipline, and of pride. And when she emerges, she is met not with mere ceremony, but with celebration, glowing in confidence, poised in wisdom, and ready to step into her union with grace and honor. Across Nigeria, wedding traditions are not mere customs. They are rich cultural expressions that takes character, affirm worth, and prepare couples for life ahead. They challenge, they honor, and empower. In these traditions, love is not spoken but proven. Some test strength, others demand patience, but all are rooted in respect, in community, and in legacy.
This is African News on Voice of the People Television, where we don't just bring you the news, we bring you Africa's heartbeat, the policies that shapes our world, and the economy that determines our future. African News on Voice of the People Television. Stay with us.
We encourage you to click on the like button and subscribe to our YouTube channel. We are Voice of the People TV. Also follow us on all our social media platforms. We are at VOPTV Live. Visit our website www.vop.ng for fresh and trending news. Also watch us live on SLTV channel 264. VOPTV, Voice of the People Television.
Join us as we drive into the world of politics through insightful interviews with prominent political figures, both serving and former governors, ministers, senators, legislators, party chieftains, activists, and analysts. Get first-hand information into the decision-making processes that affect our daily lives. Highly engaging one-hour program that brings political discourse into focus.
I am Chukwuma Okoro.
Political Lens, Monday through Friday, 6 to 7 p.m. Join us.
The 2564 is coming up on Barney 9, right?
The 2564 Atlantic.
What happens in the hush behind hangar doors? Who signs the papers that gamble with lives? Which truths were grounded before they even ever had wings? If you've ever buckled a seatbelt at 30,000 feet, if you've ever stared out of that tiny window and wondered who's really in control of the skies, it isn't just flight, it's power, it's politics, it's pressure sealed in steel. We're peeling back the clouds from runway risks to sky-high secrets. We're diving deep where most dare not to look. Aviation Scope, every Sunday at 7 p.m. only on Voice of the People TV. We don't just report, we reveal. We don't just ask, we uncover. Because when it comes to the skies, ignorance is turbulence. Aviation Scope, the sky isn't the limit, it's just the beginning.
From the views on the street,
we go to bed empty hunger,
to the blaring horns of a hustling city, the loudest voices of the common man got a medium to be heard.
This particular administration, they were coming unprepared.
It's not a bad thing to renovate the president's lawn.
Through top-notch programming, unbiased reportage of news, sports, business, entertainment, and cultural documentaries, Voice of the People 90.3 FM became a symbol for 21st century media. And now, a new baby is born. Voice of the People Television, VOP TV, youthful, full of vigor and penchant for excellence in the continent's media space, exposing the wrongs, applauding the rights, dissecting the news without fear or favor, through factual and accurate stories and contents.
Corruption kills three things that makes a society.
Representing the interests of the people and giving them a voice. Voice of the People TV is here to stay towards building a fair society. VOP TV, Voice of the People Television, truly a voice for the people.
Join us on People's Voice, where we amplify the voice of those that matters the most. Join the conversation. Share your thoughts with me. I am Xavier Udo. Weekdays, Monday through Friday, from 4 p.m. to 5. Don't forget, our voice matters the most. Let us come together and share our concerns. Thank you.
Friday.
Join us on People's Voice, where we amplify the voice of those that matters the most. Join the conversation. Share your thoughts with me. I am Xavier Udo. Weekdays, Monday through Friday, from 4 p.m. to 5. Don't forget, our voice matters the most. Let us come together and share our concerns. Thank you.
2564 is coming up on Burning 9 right now.
The 2564 Atlantic Tower.
What happens in the hush behind hangar doors? Who signs the papers that gamble with lives? Which truths were grounded before they even ever had wings? If you've ever buckled a seatbelt at 30,000 feet, if you've ever stared out of that tiny window and wondered who's really in control of the skies, it isn't just flight, it's power, it's politics, it's pressure sealed in steel. We're peeling back the clouds from runway risks to sky-high secrets. We're diving deep where most dare not to look. Aviation Scope.
Ever wonder what inspires your favorite gospel artists? Explore and discover the rich heritage of continental gospel music and how this transformative journey has evolved and shaped cultures around the world. As we dig deep into archival treasures, feel the energy in our praise jam, Gospel Fusion on Voice of the People Television. Tune in this Sunday, 3 to 4 p.m. and be part of a transformative experience that uplifts and inspires. Join us as we explore the transformative power of gospel music and its ability to uplift spirits and unite hearts. Tune in this Sunday, 3 to 4 p.m. on Voice of the People Television. Gospel Fusion. Let's fuse our hearts in praise and joy.
Hey guys, what's up? How you all doing? They call me Aviation Nelson One, your number one celebrity host, and you are watching Voice of the People Television, VOP. Stay tuned.
Uyi Osarati is my name. I am a friend of the microphone, Voice of the People TV. That name is unique, and the brand is very sweet. I like the packaging, picture qualities, camera qualities, and then of course, the quality of human beings that I see sometimes on your channel. I talk and get paid, and I look forward to being in your studios.
Oh yes, you are on to Voice of the People TV, live here in Benin City, the cradle of black civilization. What are you waiting for? Tune in, bro.
VOP TV. Now, you have more than a voice.
Hi, my name is Tosin Mohammed. I'm a gospel artist. Keep watching VOP TV.
Almighty Father, you are the mighty Redeemer. We've come to worship at your feet, oh Lord. This is Ayotunde Adejumo, chilling with you on the Voice of the People TV. Don't touch that remote. You are where God wants you to be. Listening to the Voice of the People TV.
The Bible says we should give thanks in all circumstances. And all circumstances include the good times and the bad, the high times and the low, the times when everything look as if they are going well, and those times when Enugbe, the ground is dry like the sand in the desert. Those times when you feel like giving up, you should give thanks still. My name is Jeff Melu, and I'm a gospel poet. And you should keep watching VOP TV.
We were born to give you twale, to give you worship. People of God, you are watching Voice of the People TV, and my name is Flo Rocker. I encourage you to listen to things of the gospel. You know, we live in a very perilous times where there are some things you watch on television, you will lose faith, you will lose God. Keep your eyes on Voice of the People TV and remain blessed. Flo Rocker says so. Kuzoshi.
In a world where truth is the ultimate power and opinions scream the loudest, it's time to wade through the noise.
Hunger no get tribe. Hunger no get religion.
And scan the human interest and trending topics that matter. Stay tuned to The Issues, your plug to the stories making the buzz, from politics to science and technology, social justice, and more. Let's tackle the tough questions and expose the truth. The Issues on Voice of the People Television. Don't just react, understand.
In a world where power shifts with every headline.
In a nation full of questions.
In a world filled with noise, the truth needs the voice.
The policies that shapes our world and the economy that determines our future.
Every hour, every day, the grapevine keeps buzzing. And together, we are committed to telling the stories that shape our world, because your voice is our focus.
Don't forget, our voice matters the most. Let us come together and share our concerns.
Welcome to Kitty's Corner every week.
Hello and welcome to the news hour right here on Voice of the People television. I am Chioma Innocent. Before we begin, kindly visit our website. It's www.vop.ng for fresh and trending news. First, the headlines. OPS rejects Senate's planned review of NSITF Act. NARD begins total indefinite strike on Friday. Obi urges harnessing of cyber fraudsters' talent for productivity. Owerri demolitions violated court order, according to Falana. ADC accuses Soludo of trading cash for votes. And Dangote begins refinery expansion to 1.4 million barrels per day. On the World Report, Moroccan youths demand reforms and release of Gen Z protesters. In business, federal government backs local operators as Airpeace launches Abuja to Heathrow. And in sports, Nigeria faces Italy on Tuesday as FIFA Under-17 knockout stage. And in entertainment, NDREA arrests Pretty Mike and BBN's Toyo and others at a Lagos club. Now the news in detail. The Organized Private Sector of Nigeria, OPSN, has described the Senate's proposed amendment to the Nigeria Social Insurance Trust Fund NSITF Act as a dangerous attempt to hijack and politicize the management of workers' social protection funds. Rejecting the move, the OPSN threatened transparency, accountability, and the very foundation of the fund's governance structure. In a letter by the Directors General of the 5 member organizations to the Senate President, the OPSN urged the Senate to immediately halt the process, which has already passed second reading. It insisted that the proposed changes would undermine the NSITF's tripartite structure and violate international labor standards. According to the letter, these amendments threaten to fundamentally weaken the NSITF governance structure, erode accountability and transparency, and expose the fund to undue political interference. Noting that the NSITF was founded on a tripartite structure in strict alignment with International Labour Organization Convention 102, amongst others, it stated that these conventions require that social security institutions are managed with the full and effective participation of social partners. Still on workers' welfare, the Nigerian Association of Resident Doctors NARD has announced a total, comprehensive and indefinite strike from 11:59 p.m. on Friday, October 31, 2025. The decision followed the 5-hour extraordinary National Executive Council meeting last Sunday, where the council resolved that the federal government had failed to meet the association's demands in spite of its 30-day ultimatum last month. In a statement by NARD President Mohammed Suleiman, the association said the National Officers Committee had executed its mandate with grace and confidence, but was left with no choice than the industrial action. According to him, the council has outlined the minimum demands, strike monitoring directives, and modalities to ensure full compliance by members nationwide. Suleiman further directed all center presidents and general secretaries to convene emergency congresses to brief members on the resolutions. According to him, members have been urged to use the days ahead of the strike to hand over patients, engage traditional and religious leaders, and sensitize the public and media on the reasons for their action. In a recent development, the presidential candidate of the Labour Party in the 2023 elections, Peter Obi, has tasked the government to harness the creativity and courage of internet fraudsters, popularly known as Yahoo Boys, to drive innovation and national development. Addressing the Golden Health Conference at the All Saints Cathedral in Onitsha, Anambra State, the former governor noted that some of the so-called Yahoo Boys are geniuses who need redirection and not condemnation. Obi, while speaking on the theme, Money Beyond Wealth, focused on addressing the erosion of moral values among Nigerian youth. He stated that their creativity and courage, if properly guided, can drive innovation and national development. According to him, the challenge is to channel their energy from deception to productive enterprise, just as he expressed concern that materialism among young people has become a moral crisis in the society. Obi emphasized that true wealth uplifts both the individual and society, promoting education, reducing poverty, and creating opportunities for others to live dignified lives. The Socio-Economic Rights and Accountability Project, SERP, has demanded from the Group Chief Executive Officer of the Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited, NNPCL, Bayo Ojulari, a detailed account of all revenues reportedly flagged by the Auditor General of the Federation in the 2022 annual report. Published on September 9, 2025, the report raised questions about the management of multi-billion naira transactions, including over 22 billion naira, $49 million, 14 million pounds, and 5 million euros in oil-related revenue handled by the National Oil Company. In a letter signed by its Deputy Director, Kolawole Oluwadare, SERP called on Ojulari to ensure transparency by identifying those responsible for any unaccounted funds and forwarding the findings to the appropriate anti-corruption agencies. It threatened legal action if the demands were not met. It further urged the NNPCL to recover any unremitted or misapplied funds and return them to the National Treasury, stressing that proper management of oil revenues was crucial for national development. Still on probity, human rights lawyer Femi Falana says the Lagos State government violated a restraining court order by going ahead to demolish no fewer than 100 properties in Owerri-Shoki, following complaints by affected residents who denied receiving any compensations. Justice Adegboyega Balogun of the Lagos State High Court had last Thursday issued an interim order stopping further demolition of properties in parts of Owerri-Shoki. However, in a statement, the senior advocate of Nigeria regretted that the state government still went ahead with the demolition, leading to the displacement of many families. According to Falana, in flagrant breach and contempt of the subsisting court order and upon the service of the court order on them, the defendants mobilized over 50 armed policemen and thugs who fired tear gas throughout the night to disperse those protesting the demolition and proceeded to commence a fresh demolition. He added that the demolition, which he said was carried out in the dead of the night, has led to the destruction of not fewer than 100 properties and displaced many families without being authorized by any court. Meanwhile, the Lagos State government's 2025 budget of 3.366 trillion naira has achieved an 80% cumulative performance as of October, according to the Commissioner for Information and Strategy, Benga Omotosho. Speaking during the media chat in Ikeja, Omotosho noted that both revenue generation and capital project execution were performing strongly. According to him, Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu's administration maintains a community-driven approach to development, particularly through partnerships with local government in road construction, school rehabilitation, and housing initiatives. Meanwhile, he dismissed as baseless the claims that the recent demolitions at the trade fair complex targeted specific groups, adding that it is absurd for anyone to suggest discrimination in such an exercise. Moving on, the Southeast House of Representative Caucus of the People's Democratic Party (PDP) says they will boycott the party's forthcoming national convention if the woman leader position is removed from the zone. According to their spokesperson, Ikenga Imo Ugochinyere, the caucus will issue a disclaimer against the convention slated for November 15 and 16 in Ibadan if they confirm that the party had zoned the woman leader outside the zone. He told the party's leadership to utilize the available time to remedy the situation before the screening of aspirants if the ongoing insinuation is true. Ugochinyere warned that no elected lawmaker from the southeast will remain in the PDP if what he described as the impending insult is allowed to happen. Meanwhile, ahead of the November 8 Anambra State governorship election, the African Democratic Congress ADC has accused Governor Chukwuma Soludo of voter inducement. In a post on X, the ADC spokesperson Bolaji Abdullahi claimed that Soludo has resorted to cash for votes, having lost public confidence, adding that his actions violated the Electoral Act. According to him, only a sitting governor who has run out of public goodwill would so openly resort to cash for votes, in direct violation of sections 121 and 127 of the Electoral Act, which criminalizes voter inducement of any form. The ADC further urged the Independent National Electoral Commission (INEC) not to pretend that it did not notice this, stating that this is a new level of desperation wrapped in impunity. The opposition party's governorship candidate, John Musu, had recently criticized Governor Soludo for donations from individuals, groups, and local government towards his re-election campaign, arguing that they raise ethical and legal concerns. You're still watching the news on Voice of the People television. When we return from the break, Dangote begins refinery expansion to 1.4 million barrels per day. Stay with us for these and more stories right after this break. Welcome back. You're still watching the news right here on Voice of the People television. October is observed globally as Cybersecurity Awareness Month, a campaign that began in 2004 to promote safer and more secure online practices. This year's theme, Stay Safe Online, encourages individuals, families, and organizations to take simple steps to protect themselves from cyber threats. As the conversation grows worldwide, Nigerian educators and technology experts are also joining the call, emphasizing the need to strengthen cybersecurity education in schools and promote responsible digital learning amongst young people. Our correspondent, Onyeka Ogolo, has more on this report.
Held at the University of Lagos, experts emphasized the need to equip both teachers and students with cyber safety skills as Nigeria deepens its digital learning system. Professor Ali Shea identifies social engineering and publishing as a major online threat, urging schools to start cybersecurity education from nursery level.
When you look at cybersecurity today, is very, very dynamic. Even the kind of enlightenment we're having today, tomorrow it might be obsolete. Because why? Cybersecurity is a very dynamic course because new threats are coming up every day. And as we have new threats every day, then we should have new countermeasures. Yeah, right from the primary school, even the nursery school, they should be cyber aware because there's nobody too young. Everybody is on digital platform today. Even the young one that not even started primary school. You see a student, a child trying to crawl. Is already struggling with the mom's phone. So everybody is on a digital space. And the earlier we introduce them to cyber safety, the better. Because cyber safety is for everybody, both the young and the old.
Level EduTech says it has trained over 200 teachers in the past year to improve their digital competence and promote online safety.
And some of the approaches is to, whatever I know is what I can pass out to them.
So one of the approaches is that do what I do, not do what I say. And if I'm going to tell them to do what I do, then I should know better. So I believe that correction begins with me, starting from me. I should be an example if I want the children to follow my example. You know, knowledge is power. So it is what they know, they can in turn practice. Like I said, the first thing is I do it. Then secondly, I pass the information. They should know the knowledge. They should know the goals, the do's, the don'ts. They should know the reasons behind it, because the children of Israel are so curious. When you tell them don't do it, they said why. So you should be able to tell them the A to Z of the reason why they ought not to do this and the reason why they should do this. And when they know that, then you can be sure that you get a positive return.
The group is also creating digital clubs across schools to raise students who act as digital detectives, helping their peers use technology responsibly. A national robotics supervisor says robotic and artificial intelligence are the future of learning. He believes with consistent training, Nigeria can overcome its cyber readiness.
It has its benefits, and they are overwhelming. Today we talk about new normal. Almost everything has gone online. We talk about Internet of Things, but then they are not even stopping there. They are now talking about Internet of Everything, and it also had its own disadvantages. You find that students could easily get so intoxicated. They could easily get so engrossed to the extent that they don't have time to study again. They get addicted to their devices. They cannot study. They cannot even spend time with their books. And when this trend continues, what is the future of our next generation?
But some educators are worried about their growing dependence on AI tools for assignments. Mrs. Esther says students now rely heavily on AI without thinking critically.
You know, teaching the young minds who are exposed or enlightened in the tech world, you know, you can give assignments and they no more want to reason, they no more want to think, they don't want to engage themselves or their brains. All they do is copy and paste from AI, and they feel doing that they are smart. So it's really challenging. Just a handful of them can actually go back, read and digest what you, and then give it back to you the way you want it, which we are trying to combat it, calm such from happening in the school sector. We don't just want to raise successful students who are good in copy and pasting, but people who can stand on their own and defend their certificates afterwards.
In government schools, teachers like Omolara say the lack of facilities and limited digital knowledge remains a major challenge. She's calling for more investment in teachers' training and digital infrastructure.
We do face a lot of challenges because it's a government school, and obviously there are so many facilities that should be in place that are not in place, especially when it comes to technology now. We know we are just coming up. So now talking about using all these facilities for the students, some of them are not readily available, not to talk of reaching out to them, explaining and getting them the adequate knowledge on what cybersecurity is and all that, even amongst the teachers. So some of them don't know what cybersecurity is. Some of them don't even know how to operate computers, and all these things have to be integrated into our learning and teaching.
Speakers agree that technology should complement, not replace human reasoning, stressing that cyber safety must become a core part of the school curriculum. I am Monica Ogolo, reporting for VOP TV.
Welcome back, and many thanks to you, Onyeka, for that in-depth report. Now, away from that, the president of the Dangote Group, Aliko Dangote, has announced that the management of the refinery will soon begin its capacity expansion from the current 650,000 barrels per day to 1.4 million barrels per day. Dangote told newsmen in Lagos that upon completion of the construction work for the expansion, which is expected to begin without further delay, the facility would become the largest refinery in the world, surpassing the Jamnagar refinery in India. He stated that 65,000 workers would be needed for the construction exercise, 85% of whom would be Nigerians, adding that the refinery would also ramp up its power generation from 500 megawatts to 1,000 megawatts. More so, he disclosed that the refinery would produce Euro 6 standard, up from the current Euro 5 spec, and would be listed on the stock exchange in 2026 to give Nigerians the opportunity to become shareholders. In a major step in its global expansion drive and commitment to educational inclusivity for Nigerians in the diaspora, the National Examinations Council, NECO, has announced the establishment of a new examination center in London, the United Kingdom. Unveiling the center during the Education Matters Conference UK 2025 in London, the Registrar and Chief Executive of NECO, Professor Dantani Ushishi, described the new Senior School Certificate Examination Center set up in partnership with Banfield Education Limited as a strategic move to extend access to credible Nigerian candidates beyond the country's borders. In a statement, NECO's Acting Director of Information and Public Relations, Aziz Sani, the body said the initiative aims to provide opportunities for Nigerian students and adult learners in the United Kingdom who have been unable to complete secondary education or obtain equivalent qualifications. Wushishi reaffirmed the Council's commitment to full migration to computer-based examinations, describing it as the single most critical strategic objective for NECO's future and its investment body. The Supreme Council for Sharia in Nigeria and social harmony. However, it stated that most conflicts in northern Nigeria are products of corruption, bad governance, and social inequality, and not religion, adding that Sharia has been part of the lives of Muslims in northern Nigeria for centuries before colonial rule. The Cross River government says it will host an international investment summit in London from November 17 to 19 to attract global investors and engage them. Oli described the diaspora engagement as central to the state's strategy, stating that they want to connect with cross-riverians abroad and create channels for investment, mentorship, and knowledge transfer. Meanwhile, 2 weeks to the Anambra governorship election, a civil society group has organized a debate for candidates of political parties that will take part in the polls. The debate was an opportunity.
With active citizens media, tagged Voice Beyond the Frontline.
With the candidates that want to vie for governorship election, it's time to hear them, dish out their profile, what they want to do in Anambra State. It's a platform for us to engage them and ask the right questions, so that we can hold them accountable.
The 3 governorship candidates that were in attendance are Mr. Chika Jerry Okeke of Boot Party, Professor Geoffrey Onyejebu of NNPP, and Chioma Grace Ife Melodike of AAC. They were engaged on their manifestos in the areas of security, economy, education, among others. For Ms. Ife Melodike, when elected into office, the present Agune Chamber security outfits will be scrapped for their alleged human rights abuses and extortion. According to her, community vigilantes will be strengthened through training and equipment with modern technological innovations in security. On economy, she said the creative industries to be exploited by building a film academy in the state.
Why do I think that this will help the economy? Because when we have an academy where people, creatives or people who want to get into the industry can come and get training or educated, in this way we're going to be bringing a lot of people, we're going to be attracting a lot of people into the state. And when you have an influx of people in a particular area, it boosts the economy actively. I'm going to build an academy in the capital, Oka, in Nnewi and in Onitsha in my first 2 years of.
For Mr. Chika Jerry Okeke, youth empowerment through employment and getting the youths into leadership positions is his blueprint for drastic reduction of insecurity in the state.
One of the problems of the Nigerian government of today is that the youth are neglected and the youth are not involved in governance. The youth are not taken care of. The youth are hungry. The youth have no job. All these youths are now causing the insecurity in Nigeria and also in Anambra State. So if you want Anambra to be safe, we have to employ the youth. We have to empower the youth.
Professor Onyejebu aims to exploit the commerce sector where Anambra people and the Igbos in general have comparative advantage through fair taxation and other incentives. Onyejebu, a retired colonel in the army, also said he would deploy kinetic and non-kinetic approaches to tackle insecurity in Anambra State if elected.
I will have what is called boot camps. Boot camps in agriculture mean that I will have every unemployed Onyanambra, whatever age, whatever gender, employed in all the agri camps I will set up in the 3 Joe senatorial political zones.
Governor Charles Soludo of APGA, Prince Nicholas Okachukwu of APC, and Chief George Morgal of Labour Party were among candidates that did not attend the debate. Ndo Opaleze, VOP TV News.
Many thanks to our correspondent Ndu Okwaleze for that report. We'll take another break right now before more stories coming right after the break. Our The World Report, business and sports stories. Stay tuned. Welcome back. We now take you to the foreign scene where young demonstrators in Morocco have demanded reforms in the education and health sector, stronger action against corruption, and the release of those detained during previous protests as part of rallies organized by the Gen Z 212 movement. Hundreds gathered in cities including Rabat, Casablanca, and Tangier, chanting freedom for detainees and freedom, dignity, social justice. The movement previously staged similar demonstrations between September 27 and October 9 before temporarily pausing activities. However, they have announced that demonstrations will now hold every Saturday and Sunday. Meanwhile, the government has accelerated reform projects in recent weeks in the health and education sectors to address the main demands of protesters. In Namibia, President Netumbo Nandi-Ndaitwah has dismissed the Deputy Prime Minister and Industry Minister Natangwe Ithete. Disclosing Facebook on Sunday, the presidency explained that President Nandi-Ndaitwah made an executive decision to relieve Ithete of his duties as Deputy Prime Minister and Minister of Industry, Mines and Energy with immediate effect. The statement added that she will take on the responsibility of Industry, Mines and Energy Minister in the interest of ensuring continuity and effective coordination within these key sectors. Commending Ithete's service to the country, the presidency confirmed that he will remain a member of Parliament while assuring its commitment to sound governance, accountability, and the effective implementation of national priorities. Nandi-Ndaitwah had appointed Ithete as Deputy Prime Minister and Industry, Mines and Energy Minister after her inauguration in March. The 72-year-old won the November election, securing victory without a runoff, and succeeded Nangolo Mbumba, who served as interim president since the death of Haig Geingob in February 2024. Top Chinese and United States economic officials on Sunday hashed out the framework of a trade deal for U.S. President Donald Trump and Chinese President Xi Jinping to decide on later this week that would pose steeper American tariffs and Chinese rare earth export controls. U.S. Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent said that talks on the sidelines of the ASEAN summit in Kuala Lumpur had eliminated the threat of Trump's 100% tariffs on Chinese imports starting on November 1. Bessent also said he expects China to delay implementation of its rare earth minerals and magnets licensing regime by a year while the policy is reconsidered. However, Chinese officials were more circumspect about the talks and offered no details about the outcome of the meetings. Trump and Xi are due to meet on Thursday on the sidelines of the Asia-Pacific Economic Cooperation APEC summit in Gyeongju, South Korea, to sign off on the terms. While the White House has officially announced the highly anticipated Trump-Xi talks, China is yet to confirm that the two leaders will meet. In another development, Colombia's Interior Minister Armando Benedetti has criticized the United States after being placed on its sanctions list, stating that he has no connection to the drug trafficking allegations. Benedetti wrote on X that he was put on the U.S. Treasury Department Office of Foreign Assets Control list for defending the dignity of his country and stating that his president, Gustavo Petro, was not a drug trafficker. He stressed that he has never entered the house of even a single drug trafficker, adding that it shows that every empire is unjust and that its anti-drug fight is a sham for armamentism. The minister added that for the U.S., a non-violent statement is the same as being a drug trafficker. President Gustavo Petro's son, Nicolas Petro, who was added to the sanctions list with his father, also criticized the decision as politically motivated. We now take you into business where in the aviation sector, the federal government has reassured of its commitment to supporting local airline operators as Air Peace launched its historic direct flight from Abuja to London Heathrow on Sunday. Speaking during the ceremonial send-off at the Nnamdi Azikiwe International Airport in Abuja, the Minister of Aviation and Aerospace Development, Festus Keyamo, said that the achievement was a major milestone in Nigeria's aviation history and demonstrated the government's resolve to empower indigenous carriers. According to him, having been mandated by President Bola Tinubu to ensure that local carriers thrive and survive, the ministry discovered that over 100 airlines have come and gone in the last 4 decades. He stressed that the importance of the private sector in driving economic growth, stating that every good economy thrives on the well-being of its private sector as the true engine of growth. Meanwhile, the chairman of Air Peace, Alan Onyema, commended Kiamo's swift interventions, including the removal of a 4% fee on board charge on aviation imports, which he said was a challenge to the industry. Meanwhile, the chief instructor of Arco Aviation Academy, Samuel Sunday, has urged the Nigerian Civil Aviation Authority, NCAA, to improve airspace safety and professionalism by sanctioning unlicensed drone operators across the country. Making the call during the graduation ceremony for 12 certified drone pilots in Port Harcourt, Rivers State on Sunday, he warned that unauthorized drone operations pose serious safety risks and undermine the integrity of the aviation industry. Against that background, he urged the NCAA to ensure that only certified drone pilots operate within Nigeria's airspace, adding that Nigeria would be endangering both air users and the public without proper regulation. In another development, the Nigerian Railway Corporation has announced the resumption of operations on the Warri-Itakpe train service on Wednesday, October 29th. In a statement, NRC's Chief Public Relations Officer Callistus Unyimado, the temporary suspension of the services was to enable the corporation effect essential repairs, system checks and maintenance on the tracks and rolling stock to enhance passenger safety and service reliability. He further apologized to travelers and stakeholders for the inconvenience caused by the service disruption, adding that the online booking portal will reopen by 12 noon on Monday for tickets to the designated stations. According to the NRC, Operations will commence with 7 coaches comprising 6 standard class and 1 business class, while the train timetable comprising the temporary speed restrictions for safety and operational monitoring will also be released on Monday. From business, we take you into the world of sports, where Nigeria's under-17 women team, the Flamingos, will face Italy in one of the standout round of 16 fixtures of the ongoing 2025 FIFA Women's World Cup after their emphatic 4-0 victory over Samoa on Saturday. The encounter, built for 8 o'clock in the evening on Tuesday, will be played at the Stade Olympique de Rabat in Rabat, Morocco. The Flamingos will now aim to build on their impressive group stage campaign as they continue their push for a historic first world title. Among the other fixtures, host nation Morocco will also take on South Korea at the Mohammed VI Football Academy Pitch 2 in Salé in the same evening. Earlier on Tuesday, Brazil will battle China, while the United States squares off against the Netherlands, with both matches slated for Salé at 4:30 in the evening. The game continues on Wednesday, with Mexico facing Paraguay at 4:30 in the evening, while defending champions Spain meet France in an all-European clash at the same time and venue. In another sweet story for the Nigerian fans, Rivers United sealed the historic qualification for the group stage of the CAF Champions League also on Saturday. The Nigerian side overturned the first leg deficit to defeat Mozambique's Black Bulls 3-1 at the Godswill Akpabio Stadium in Uyo, winning the tie 3-2 on aggregate. By that victory, Rivers United became the first Nigerian Premier League side to reach the group stage of the continent's Premier League competition since Lobby Stars achieved the feat in the 2018-2019 season. Having lost 1-0 Maputo last year, the Pride of Rivers entered the return leg under pressure but showed character and attacking intent from the start. These ultimately led them to a sweet victory, the coach Finidi George side progressing to the group stage on a 3-2 aggregate win. And now, entertainment. Lagos socialite and nightclub owner Mike Mwogu, popularly known as Pretty Mike, and former Big Brother Nigeria housemate Toyo Ide, alongside over 100 guests, have been arrested by the National Drug Law Enforcement Agency, NDREA. They were arrested during the agency's midnight raid of Proxy nightclub in Lagos, with the NDREA alleging that cartons of banned substances, including loud and laughing gas, were recovered from the suspects in club store during the operation. According to the Director of Media and Advocacy, Femi Babafemi, the operatives, acting on credible intelligence, had infiltrated the club around 11 o'clock on Saturday evening before swooping in on the gathering at about 3 o'clock on Sunday morning. Confirming his arrest through his Instagram page, Toyo said he was arrested for nothing, adding that they were made to sit like criminals since around 4 a.m. in the morning. Still in entertainment, the Sharia enforcing police in Kano State has cancelled a wedding organized by court between 2 TikTok celebrities, Idris Wushiya and Basira Guda, after a viral kissing video that the Islamic court had deemed indecent. The video had shown them cuddling and kissing, thereby drawing outrage among Kano residents. Consequently, a magistrate court instructed the Kano Sharia police called Hisbah to solemnize their marriage within 60 days. However, Hisbah's Director General Abba Sufi disclosed that Wushiya told Hisbah officials he was not interested in marrying Guda, adding that he lied to the court that both were in love in order to evade prosecution. Sufi stated that consequently the authorities have cancelled the wedding and would refer the matter to the judge for appropriate sanctions. And that is on the news hour. Before we go, a quick look at the headlines. We told you that the OPS has rejected the Senate's planned review of the NSITF Act. NARD begins total indefinite strike on Friday. Obi urges harnessing of cyber fraudsters' talent for productivity. Owerri Shoki demolitions violated court order, according to Falana. ADC accuses Soludo of trading cash for votes. Dangote begins refinery expansion to 1.4 million barrels per day. On the World Report, Moroccan youths demand reforms and release of Gen Z protesters. In business, federal government backs local operators as Air Peace launches Abuja to Heathrow flight. In sports, Nigeria faces Italy on Tuesday as FIFA Under-17 knockout stage. And in the world of entertainment, NDREA arrests Pretty Mike and BBN Toyo and others at Lagos Club. Do not subscribe to our YouTube channel. On YouTube, we are Voice of the People TV, and on other social media platforms, we are at VOP TV Live. If you witness news happening near you, we want to hear from you. Send your eyewitness reports, event coverage requests, photos or videos directly via WhatsApp to 0814-606-4057. You can also reach our newsroom by email at news@vop.ng. I am Chioma Innocent. Thank you for watching.
Join us on People's Voice, where we amplify the voice of those that matters the most. Join the conversation. Share your thoughts with me. I am Xavier Udo. Weekdays, Monday through Friday, from 4 p.m. to 5. Don't forget, our voice matters the most. Let us come together and share our concerns. Thank you.
In a world where power shifts with every headline.
In a nation full of questions.
In a world filled with noise, the truth needs a voice.
The policies that shapes our world and the economy that determines our future.
Every hour, every day, the grapevine keeps buzzing. And together, we are committed to telling the stories that shape our world, because your voice is our focus.
Don't forget, our voice matters the most. Let us come together and share our concerns.
Behind every broken desk lies a broken promise. Education shapes the nations. But who is asking the right questions? Introducing Edu Dialogue, the show that goes beyond the surface, exposes the cracks, the corruption, and the silence in Nigeria's education system. Edu Dialogue, Saturdays, 3 p.m., only on VOP TV. We break the biggest stories, from missing funds to policy failures. We ask the tough questions and demand real answers. Edu Dialogue, this Saturday, 3 p.m. on
VOP TV. Now, you have more than a voice.
This is African News on Voice of the People Television, where we don't just bring you the news, we bring you Africa's heartbeat, the policies that shapes our world, and the economy that determines our future. African News on Voice of the People Television. Stay with us.
I've been in this profession over 30 years. And I must confess to you, VOP is just too welcoming. You can't do without VOP on a daily basis. The moment you join VOP on a daily basis, you are all in all. I must confess to you.
Join us on People's Voice, where we amplify the voice of those that matters the most. Join the conversation. Share your thoughts with me. I am Xavier Udo. Weekdays, Monday through Friday, from 4 p.m. to 5. Don't forget, our voice matters the most. Let us come together and share our concerns. Thank you.
My name is Tao Familoni, and here is to VOP TV. Keep watching, stay tuned, do not touch that dial.
My name is Made Kuti, and you're watching VOP TV. Keep watching.
Welcome, my name is Zika Davis. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, boys, viewers, everybody, boys and girls. This is VOP TV. Do you know what that means? Voice of the People TV. You don't have a voice, don't come here. You better make sure your voice is heard.
We encourage you to click on the like button and subscribe to our YouTube channel. We are Voice of the People TV. Also follow us on all our social media platforms. We are at VOP TV Live. Visit our website www.vop.ng for fresh and trending news. Also watch us live on SLTV channel 264. VOP TV, Voice of the People Television.
In a world where power shifts with every headlines, news breaks and events happens. We'll bring you unbiased and explicit information on politics, economy, and state of the nation. We break down the chaos. Facts, not fluff. Truth, not spin. We discuss not just politics, but a glimpse into the future. Join Moses, Chukuma, and Fina on Voice of the People TM. Voice of the People Television. Now you have more than a voice.
The red carpets, awards, the razzmatazz, music, fashion, interviews, and more. Spotlight on Voice of the People Television. Let's feed you with all the juicy stories in the global entertainment space, bringing you the glitz and glamour as it is hot. Stay tuned to Spotlight, 1 p.m. Monday to Friday. Spotlight on VOP TV. Entertainment like never before.